Do you ever wake up with good intentions and somehow the day passes and by the end of the day you feel like you got nothing done? It's easy to call yourself lazy, but what if it's not laziness and you are just out of sync? The truth is, most people are not lazy, they are out of sync, and when you are out of sync, even the smallest task feels like you are climbing a really steep mountain. So the long and short of it is you may not feel like doing it, or you'll find it really challenging to be able to do that particular task. Hello everybody, I am Vaishali Nikhade. I am an engineer turned psychic with over 9,000 readings, and I show you how you can leverage the power of the spirit and the power of the stars in order to be able to make decisions that create momentum in your life. In this video, you're going to learn why being out of sync creates a stuck, unmotivated feeling and how you can recognize the hidden patterns that make the difference between momentum and burnout. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. Energy runs in cycles, being out of sync versus being in sync, and the real fix is rhythm, not motivation. According to a study in psychological science, only about 8% of the people achieve their goals every year, not because they are lazy, but they are doing actions that don't align with natural energy cycles. So think about it for a second. 92% of the people are pushing, forcing, and draining themselves when the real problem is actually in the timing. So let's get started. The first one is energy runs in cycles. So I have a video where I show or talk about rhythms. So I'll try to link it below. But just to summarize, nature moves in until it doesn't, which means that you have the new moon and then you have the full moon and then you go back to the new moon and so on, and then this cycle will keep repeating itself, and then once in a while you may get an eclipse. It is not happening all the time, but is only happening some of the times. And then you have the seasons which follow each other. You have summer and then fall and then winter and spring, and then after spring you come back to summer, and the seasons, they kind of follow themselves. However, energy is following a different pattern. The pattern is such that it is not same or constant throughout the day, and that is what makes it interesting. The easiest way to think about it is most of the people, they have a normal, most of the people have a fixed, let's say, routine, which is, let's say they get up at a certain time, then they go to work, and then they come and have dinner, and then they go to sleep. So this is the rhythm of the person, that they are doing all the activities around approximately, or ballpark, they're doing all the activities at the same time. However, now if I superimpose a layer of energy of how the energy is going to be of this person throughout the day, you will find that in the morning, this person has a lot of energy, and then as the day passes, the energy actually drains down, or it wanes down, because this person is really tired. So all this energy of this person is kind of exhausted, and then by the time they are ready to go to sleep, they pretty much have, let's say, the least amount of energy of the day, most of the times anyway. So now what you can do is, this is the pattern of the day, and this is the energy of the person, because they started working here, they're very exhausted by the end of the day. So now there's a third thing on top of this, which is the information that is coded in the stars, and you can decode this information. So as a psychic, I can decode this information, and I can find out as to which parts of the day are going to be very favorable. For instance, let's say that I pick this chunk of the day to be favorable, and let's say that for whatever reason, fortune is going to smile on this person. And if this person knows in advance that fortune is going to smile during this period of time, then what's going to happen is that the person is going to conserve the energy during this period of time. So you can look at this at a daily level, you can look at this at a weekly level, you can look at it at a monthly level, you can look at it at a quarterly level, and so on. And I just recorded a video before this where I kind of showed you how you can go from a higher level to a lower level, which is essentially kind of trying to find the hot spots where the energy is going to be most favorable for you. And once you know that, you can kind of conserve your energy so that you can save your energy for the time when it is needed the most. So think of it as going for an interview, like when or before you go for an interview, like a job interview, because a lot of the reading clients that I have, they're looking for work right now. Before they go for the interview, they're not going to sit the whole day cramming all the stuff in terms of whatever it is that they have done during the past, but they're going to take some rest so that they're ready and prepared and more presentable and more fresh to the person who is kind of interviewing them. So if you'd like to know how to find these cycles, then I have a free workshop. The link is below. You can sign up for the workshop and I give you all the frameworks where I show you how you can decode these cycles of energy and how you can leverage the power of these cycles in order to be able to create momentum in your life. If your work is aligned in a way that you are working during the weakest energy cycle, then you're going to feel drained, exhausted, and not much is going to move forward as far as the progress of your work is concerned. So go ahead and put in the comments below if you feel like you're working really, really hard and nothing is moving because perhaps you're not leveraging the power of the energy cycles. So now we move on to the second point, which is being out of sync versus being in sync. Being out of sync means that the doors are going to feel closed. Progress is going to be, let's say, not so visible, or there's going to be lack of progress, or it's going to be really, really slow. And not much is going to happen. It may also put you in an emotional state where you are at an emotional low because you feel that not much is happening, things are not moving in the direction, even though you're putting in all the work. So that is what it means to be out of sync. Being in sync is you just put a little bit of work and then you get the outcome that you're expecting, or you get more out of it. So think of it as you starting to drive. Let's say I want to drive from here to the airport, and before I get on the freeway, I have to hit certain amount of traffic lights. And being out of sync is when I keep hitting red light after red light after red light, and being in sync is I just hit the first green light and then I hit the next green light and the next green light, and it's almost as though I'm driving on the freeway even though I'm on the surface street. So that is what it means to be in sync. Now sometimes it may happen that you feel you are out of sync but you are actually in sync. So I'll give you an example of this, which is let's name this person. This is a real story with a fake name. Let's name this person John Doe. So John Doe was waiting on a train. Let's say that he was waiting for the train to come in. And as he was waiting for the train and as he was about to board the train, someone called out his name and stopped him. So essentially that prevented him from boarding the train. And then he is like, oh my God, why did this person have to find me during this time? It made me miss my train, and so on. And then he waits until the next train comes in at whatever time it was scheduled to come in, and then he boards the next train. And then he goes home on the next train. However, what he finds is that the first train actually had an accident, and that particular section of the train where he was going to be there, that section was completely destroyed. And had he boarded that train, he would no longer be here. So essentially, even though he felt like he was out of sync, he was literally in sync, and it was, let's say, divine intervention which put him in sync instead of being out. So there are times when it is better for you not to force things, like just go and rush and board the train and just kind of let nature take its course. And even though you feel at an external level, at a human level, that things are not out of sync, things may actually be in sync. So that is being out of sync versus in sync. And then the last problem is the real fix is rhythm. And not motivation. So motivation is it's like a bubble. It's only there for a certain amount of time, and after that time the motivation bubble is going to be gone, or it's going to burst out, whatever way you want to call it. So some people may be able to hold themselves in that bubble for a longer period of time, and some people may be able to hold themselves in that bubble for, let's say, not that long of a time. So instead of being motivated, if you were to find the energy cycles where things are going to move in a manner that thing becomes really easy for you, and there is momentum in your life, or whatever you do, it kind of brings you progress really quickly, and it brings your momentum really fast, then is it something that you would like to leverage? You can go ahead and put that in the comments below if you would like to leverage that. And that comes from the power of the stars, which is essentially by decoding the information in the stars, you can tell which periods of the month or the week, and also the day, of course, are going to be good for you. And I cover this in a free workshop, which I have the link below, and you can sign up for the free workshop, and you can see how I have constructed all my frameworks, where I show you how you can leverage the power of the stars and the rhythms of the stars, so that motivation, if you have it, it's fine. But even if you don't have it, just by knowing what to expect is going to kind of give you peace of mind. And you can also do this with the power of your intuition. If you have worked on developing your intuition, you will know while making a decision as to where this decision is going to land you, or where it is going to lead you to. But unless you have extremely highly developed levels of intuition, it's almost unlikely that you will be able to nail things down to a very high degree of certainty. And that is the reason I have this free workshop where you can sign up and you can see how you can leverage the power of the stars and get into the rhythm, so that things don't feel so much of an uphill climb that you just kind of give up and don't do anything. So remember that you're not lazy, but you're just out of sync. What happens when you try and fail and you feel like you can't bounce back? This is what I'm going to cover in the next video, about how you can move past failure so that setbacks stop holding you hostage. And I will see you in the next video.